Hello and welcome everyone to our next session here at Astrho Live Partner Showcase. We're excited to be joined by Key Data Dashboard and their CEO, Jason Sprinkle. So I'm just going to say a few words. I'll hand it over to you, Jason. I know this is like a really tight product demo launch overview, but Jason is an industry expert. He really knows the space in and out. Can see it from all angles. And it's really exciting what Key Data is doing for just analytics and market insight for the whole industry. And I think it's really exciting too, that not only is the solution for large property managers, but it's really an opportunity for owners too. And we're gonna learn a little bit more about that today. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Jason. Thanks for being here.
Super, Heather. Yeah, thanks for having us. Super excited to be here and to share this with you guys, and excited about our partnership with Astrho. And it's a really fun time in the space for Key Data in particular. We've been working with professionals for the last 3 years, and we're making that segue over to bring some of these, what we've considered from the beginning to be kind of pro tools, and refine them for rent by owners. So thrilled about the opportunity here to kind of talk about what we're building, and anxious for some feedback and questions. And so I'll kick it off here by just talking about the byline there, which not many people mention, but it's worth making the point here. We really are trying to bring insights, not just data, to end users. We want to make it easier for people to do what they're trying to do in the first place. We don't want to just put data in front of you. Data is great for data nerds, but in the end, what we all want is an easier path to get to what we're trying to solve. And so that's really our goal with our host product that we're developing for rent by owners. And I want to talk just a little bit about whenever you're using insights from a data company, and you guys will see a lot of partners out there in the space that have different pieces of data. You want to make sure that if you're going to rely on the insights, that you understand where the data is coming from and you can trust it. And I think that's what sets us apart. And so here's what our goal is with our host product. And our host product is just name that to juxtapose it against what we call our pro product. No less powerful in terms of the insights it delivers, but a person with 20 or 100 properties has a certain list of items that they're trying to accomplish during the day with data, and a person with 1 or 2 or 5 properties has a lot of those same things, but also has some unique things that we wanted to make sure we addressed. And so our goal is to empower those decisions for hosts with really solid data. And rather than taking the approach of saying, what data can we put in front of the end users, we went back to the beginning, and it's kind of a philosophy of software design called jobs to be done, which is, what is the job that you're trying to accomplish that you're effectively buying the software for? And so 5 big things that we know are critical to hosts, and we wanted to make sure our software could answer them. One is, where do you want to buy a property? A lot of people are still in that looking phase. It's important to understand what property is going to meet your needs. Some people are simply driven by know what market I want to be in. I need to know which property, which is number 2 there. But some people are still in the exploratory phase where they want to know, hey, I'm just looking for a great return on investment. Anywhere in the Southeast is helpful for me. I just want to make sure I'm investing in the right property long term. Of course, a lot of the value of property is often associated with the vacation rental income or revenue you can get from guests. And so that's where our data really comes into play. Which property to buy once you fine tune the market, and then understanding what to expect from my property. A lot of people will already have a property or 2 that they own or that they picked out. And I think it's a fair question to say there's a lot of data out there. What should I expect in terms of pricing and revenue and usage? There's enough hosts around me. Can't we get all that data together and give me some insights? 4th is tracking and outperforming the competition. You're in a market, you've got a house, you picked it out, you know what to expect. Okay, now how do I use the data to kind of beat the guys around me or the girls around me in terms of pricing and usage? And then finally, like, how do I keep that calendar full? A lot of data about where people are coming from, where they're traveling to, when they're traveling. And so we wanted to take the data that we've got access to and put it in a format to where you could help answer those questions for you. And real quick, I want to tell you what the source of our data is, because I think it's critical to understanding the different insights that are available out to you in the market. What's unique about us is we get data really from 2 places. And the first one is what sets us aside. It's this, what we call our proprietary data set, or our trusted booking data. And the way we get this data is we go out and we integrate with all these property management or reservation systems that all the professional companies use. And then we go partner with individual vacation rental companies around the globe. We got 2,300 property managers that we work with right now, who every time they make a reservation in their system in whatever little market they're in around the globe, that reservation data flows right into our aggregated database. What that allows us to do is basically in real time take data from professionals all over the globe, really concentrated in these core leisure markets in the US, and be able to provide real-time insights, not just how the market's been performing or which house types are doing better, or what you should buy, but like in real time looking forward how those properties are doing. So something nobody else in the world has. I think it makes our insights that we provide to end users very unique, and so excited to be able to share that and offer that with hosts. Second piece, of course, we've got is to make sure we've got complete coverage. We, like a lot of other players in this space, we also scrape the entire supply and inventory off of Airbnb and VRBO, and we do it on a daily basis. And that helps us understand all the properties that are in your market, how they're performing, what they're pricing at, so you can keep up with that as well. So those are really the two data sets that go into these insights that we provide for you. And then I think it's important to know what happens with our data once we bring it in. For us, we take an awful lot of pride in the fact that the associations in the space have embraced us. Of course, Astrho, number one, our latest and greatest favorite. Thrilled to be working with you guys, all the way down to kind of the core associations that work on the professional side, the trade magazines that write for the professional side. And for us, one of the reasons that's important is I want you to know as hosts that the data's been vetted, that it's being used on a regular basis to provide insights, not just to individual property owners, but to the associations that kind of run the industry and keep an eye on where things are headed. Just as importantly, that data is not just vetted by the associations on the top and kind of the property managers who are using it on a daily basis to run their own businesses. But in the middle, we've got the destinations who are also our clients. We provide insights to all these destinations. We got 50 plus that we've added in the last year in the US alone. And those destinations, everybody from the state of Florida down to small places like Breckenridge and Gatlinburg, they use those insights from the same data set that we're offering to hosts to make decisions about where to market, how to market to guests that are coming into their market. And so we make a big deal about knowing the data that you use. And we want you to know there's a lot of other people out there that are using it, testing it, relying on it on a daily basis. And we think that should give you some comfort in being able to rely on it. Now, kind of to the meat of it, how do we help a host understand where to buy a property? We've got a lot of different data points that can help you do that. I'll show you a couple of examples. One is just taking an area. So in this case, I'm looking at Northwest Florida. Let's say you're in Atlanta or Houston or one of the kind of the core feeder markets, and you say, I think we want to buy a property. We want to buy another property in this market. And generally, investors tend to be regionally located because they know they can get the extra benefit of coming and using their property. It may be a broad nationwide search, but if you're regionally located like this, one of the things we do is we help you come in and compare the performance of the submarkets around it. So you might say, look, I don't have any real core preference into whether I'm in 30A or Destin or Panama City. I want a great place where I'm going to get a good return, and I want to understand the predictability, the rates, the usage. And so we have about 35 different metrics that we measure over any period of time, looking backwards for the last couple of years or looking forward for anything on the books. And we just help you understand how those markets perform relative to one another. In this case, we're showing you rates. You can see kind of over the course of this time period of 6-month window, looking forward, how the 30A rates compare to the Destin or the Panama City. Kind of start at the top and help you dive in. We also give you a little bit more acute information. So once you start to look at a particular property, you want to know, how has this property been performing year over year over year? Is it getting better each year? Is it slipping a little bit? Is it losing to a neighboring community? Just give you a sense of the health of the market that you're buying into. I think it says a lot, not just about the revenue performance of your property as a rental, but it can also say a lot about the appreciation and likelihood that I'm buying in a strong market where the value is going to appreciate. And we can show you everything from occupancy and rates and revenue, some of these core things, to lengths of stay, average stay value, things that will really help to allow you to start to set your pricing strategy. We also show you the full supply. This is one of the benefits of scraping the OTAs. So we come into a market, you can see here in this case that We go all the way down to exactly which property is located. You can hover over it. You can see the context of the property. You can see them on Airbnb or Vrbo, and you can kind of see how that supply is changing over time, which is also important to think about when you think about the appreciation potential for the house. Okay, which property to buy? I've settled in on Gatlinburg or Hilton Head or Vail or Destin, and I know I want to buy a property. I like the health of this market. Which property should I buy? Well, in different markets, the types of properties that are doing well or doing better over time differ. And so in some markets, the best return on investment may be a 2-bedroom condo, and in other markets, the best investment may be a 7-bedroom house. And certainly you're going to know your price range and property type that you're inclined to buy, but it's helpful to go in and look at some of our filters. And these are just 2 examples. We're looking at occupancy here. You could just as easy look at length of stay or rates, perhaps more importantly, or revenue, and get a sense for how different property types or different property sizes perform. I think it's very important to kind of understand that there can be a significant difference in these depending upon the market that you're looking at. So it'll help you refine the choice that you make in terms of the property you buy. Next, I've got a property in mind, or as the case often is, I've got 2 or 3 in mind, and I'm really trying to make a final decision either about which of those to buy in terms of what I can expect, or I've got one and I really need to know what to expect from a budgeting and pro forma standpoint. So one of the things that's one of the great tools in our system I'm excited to bring to host is really a pro forma or projection tool. And we let you drop a pin on a map or put an address in, draw what you know to be the comp area, and we help you if you're not familiar with the market. We pre-draw it for you, but we let you refine it. And then we tell you based off all the houses that we get data for in that market, all the data that we see out there, exactly what you should expect across a long list of pro forma criteria. So how much money should you expect to make per month? Pretty important for budgeting. Overall, how much should you expect? How many guests should we expect to come in, and kind of what the rent should be per month? And so it just shows you, here's what's happening in that market, in that neighborhood, with that property type. So these searches aren't just show me everybody in this market, in this neighborhood. It's show me how 4-bedroom houses that look and feel like this are performing in that market. Some markets, we can go all the way down to the condo building. Other markets, they stop at the city level. It just really depends upon the density of the vacation rentals in that market. But some really specific data that tell you what to expect from this property. And in many cases, we help people choose between, should I buy this 4-bedroom down on the east end of the beach or the 5-bedroom on the other end of the beach, and what's the difference? Because they kind of feel the same. And a lot of times the data will help separate what you should expect performance-wise. And then we get down to the fun stuff, which is I've got a property or I've got a few properties and I need to understand how to price it. I've got other properties in my market, of course, that are on the shelf next to me, as we say, on the OTA shelves. And so we've got this product that we call our custom comp set product, where you can look at your competition. And so you see in that first row there, you've got the property that you own. And you can see how you've got it priced for whatever date range you want. Solid blue is booked and white is not booked, and you can see the prices there. And then we help you by suggesting, based on all our data, identify other similar properties that we think compete with you out in the marketplace. And then we allow you to refine that list based on your own local knowledge, of course, showing you all the metrics and data that we have for those individual properties. And so the goal is to allow you to create this list of competitive properties. And then we want you to be able to watch that competitive list and to be able to really quickly gain some insights about how they're performing. And so we put some fun color codes in here to just make it easier to see it. You notice red is the highest booked property there, or the highest rated property there. I look at that as who's winning, right? Who got the highest price for that day? Green is the lowest price. Who left the most on the table for that day, assuming they're equivalent properties. Of course, you can see on the left some summaries. So like who's getting the highest ADR rates, who's getting the highest occupancy. And then for those of you who are familiar with RevPAR, or sometimes I just think of it as revenue per night, who's winning overall. And what you can see is a lot of times you'll identify a competitive property where they might be pricing a little bit less than you, but they're getting slightly better occupancy, so they're making more money. Or conversely, it might be that they're pricing better than you and they're still getting better occupancy. And then you want to know, hey, can I mimic that same pricing strategy and follow it and be able to reap those same rewards? Or am I just priced a little bit too high? It's hurting my occupancy, and I can see other players in the space that aren't necessarily better than me, Perhaps they've got a better marketing strategy or better photos. The idea is to put it all in front of you, make it very visceral so you can feel it on a daily basis and watch which pricing strategy can work best for you. And then lastly, like when you think about filling up the calendar, you're getting your pricing strategy down, you're watching it, you know who your competitors are. It may be the other condos like you in the building, or maybe you've got a unique property that's an 8-bedroom house with a pool, and there's only 10 of those in town. We'll go out and grab all the 8-bedroom properties with a pool in town and say, hey, these look like your competition. And you can say, yep, those are my competition, or no, I really compete directly with the 5 through 8-bedroom houses in my neighborhood. But once you get that refined, you got to start thinking about filling up your calendar, right? Course, a focus on bringing back repeat guests is tantamount, but understanding where your guests come from is one of the key things that the data can help us. This is one of the core features that our professionals use, and of course, that our destinations use. They like to understand where people are coming from. This is a sample snapshot of the market down here where I live in Northwest Florida in Destin. And you can see just understanding where those guests are coming from. It doesn't have to be just a simple list. It can be where are my guests coming from for spring break or for a particular time of year. But knowing where guests comes from helps you understand where to focus your marketing if you're marketing off the OTAs. And so we're excited to be able to put that piece of data set in front of you. But the host product is a brand new product for us. It's kind of coming out of the test tube, and we're fine tuning it and starting to show it off and get feedback. So it's not available on the market yet. This is the first time we're showing it off. I'm thrilled to be showing it off with you guys at Astrho, but eager for some feedback and questions, and we will have it out to the market very soon. So I will stop there and see if there's any questions, or Heidi, I can answer anything for you or Heather.
No, I think this is great. And I actually learned a lot in going through this with you, because I think many of our owners owners and members think about AirDNA as a solution for, especially the like, where do I buy a home?
Yeah.
And on the investment strategy side. So can you talk more about maybe that part of the product? Because it feels
absolutely.
like
So
you're really going to meet that.
To AirDNA's credit, they were first out of the gate and really established the demand for this type of product, right? Like there's a large number of users who've used that data set, which is really for a long time the only data set out there. What we're excited to do is really bring some of the same functionality to the marketplace in terms of the insights that we offer. But what we wanted to do is really bring better data behind it, right? And we wanted to add to the insights that you've drawn. And so we're trying to take, to their credit, what they started with, but put a better data set behind it. And the only way to get a better data set behind it, because we scrape off the OTAs just like they do for a portion of our data, was to go start knocking on doors one at a time. And so we built a pretty big team. We spent 3 years knocking on doors, and we built those pipelines and relationships into these companies so that their real-time data is flowing into us. And so when you scrape an OTA, you only get, within a certain range of accuracy. You can see the inventory, but you can't really tell what somebody booked their price at. You can't tell when an owner stay happened. You can't tell when a friend stayed there. The thing that we get out of that proprietary data set is the ability to get very accurate when we present these insights to hosts. And so accuracy is the biggest difference. The second difference is, look, we know what's been out there for a long time. We're taking a new, fresh shot at it, and we're just trying to make it bigger and better.
No, that's a great clarification on the kind of what data is behind these views to develop on the investment side. I guess moving over to the other side, like future looking rate strategy, revenue management, we did have a question more related to that. I think it was a few slides back. The question is, did you discuss pricing details for a single property owner? So is this recommending my price? And Sherry, please chat again if I'm clarifying your question, because it looks like this is going to give me some good intelligence on maybe how I should price, but how is this the same or different maybe than automatically pricing my home?
Yeah, great question. So there's really two options out there. On the professional side, a huge percentage of the market is using both. One is an automated pricing tool, which effectively just comes in and sets your rates for you. It takes a lot of data, puts it into an algorithm and says, you should price this night at $375. We try to be the data version, which is not to offer a final automated price. We try to show you exactly what's happening so that you can price it. a lot of people want to see both. They want to turn on automated pricing, but they want to use this to gut check it. The pricing tools are still fairly new in the space. Some markets are great, some markets are a little bit weaker. We work with those automated pricing tools to provide them the data set. But the purpose of our tool is to show the math, to show what's behind the numbers to the individual homeowner, so that the big group of users who just wants to see it for themselves, instead of just, as we like to say, jumping in the back of the Tesla, they want to keep one hand on the wheel. That's the purposes of our product, is to let you see what's happening around you. And we got some people who just want to dig in and understand it, or at least check it. That's where we come in. We got some people who, quite honestly, they just want to turn it all off and let the machines take over, and that's good enough. That's where the automated pricing groups come in. And then we got people in the middle who like to see both.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think this might be a tough question. I don't know if you're ready to answer it. What is the cost?
Cost will be right at $50 a month.
Okay.
Leave me a little bit of leeway because we haven't launched it yet, but that's certainly where all the internal discussions are headed. And so I can commit that we'll at least come out of the gate at $50 a month. And then my goal will be to add so many tools on there that people say, man, that's a heck of a price we're getting there. We'd like to buy additional tools.
So if I have a property and two properties in different locations, how does that play into it? Or is it just kind of one user subscription?
Yeah, we haven't fine-tuned that yet. My guess
Okay.
is, like the other platforms out there, that there'll be kind of a market price. And so if you want to price a bunch of stuff in the Northwest Florida market, that's one price. If you want to add Colorado markets to it, that's an additional price, but it probably won't be the full price for, not, you'll get some credit for having the platform on board and an incremental cost for adding additional markets. And look, if there happens to be users on there who have a handful of properties, our Pro product is out there right now. It's got all these tools kind of on steroids. It might not be the right fit for you. This might be the better product, but you're welcome to check it out at any time. And the price point on that is $200 a month. And we've got, like I showed you, a couple thousand users using it already. So that's available now if you're just anxious to get going with the version that's out there.
That was great. It sounds like that helped answer the question about just what would it cost for this audience to have access to the platform.
$50.
So, and then I don't know if you have any more slides. I know we're down to our last minute here.
That's it. That's it. Just appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you guys, and looking forward to kind of refining this host data product and getting it out there, and working with you guys to refine it, make sure we're meeting the needs of hosts.
No, this is great, Jason. Thanks for your time. And this is a really important product, important insights for helping hosts, RBOs become more professional, right? And Key Data is actually, just to add, really involved with our revenue management course. We have someone from Key Data helping teach that every quarter. And so you're a great partner. We appreciate your time today and look forward to seeing this product fully launched so we can get our hands in there.
Likewise. Thanks for the opportunity, Heather. Appreciate you as always.
Okay, talk soon. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.